Now, what's up? What's good? It's your boy Carcino here. Yep, early this morning. Let's get to it. The Lakers are seriously thinking about acquiring Chris Paul in a trade. That's been the whole talk since about midnight last night. Good morning, bruh. I see you. So, about midnight last night, people start going crazy talking about a potential trade by the Los Angeles Lakers to OKC to acquire Chris Paul. Now, he has to anybody with a brain. Everybody is assuming this is a good deal. Like, finally, Chris Paul can come to the Lakers and he can have a chance at a championship. Hopefully, they can convince Chris Paul. It's not Chris Paul's decision. Chris Paul is under contract for 2 more years. Has everybody forgotten that? Like, what are they thinking? What are they even talking about right now? You know what I'm saying? I mean, they're not gonna really push this video. We know that. We know why and everything else. Not even caring. I'm just putting the video out so you guys can have it and have the information so you guys could do with it, what you want. But we already know what time it is. So well, the deal that happened, what was it, 10 years ago? When they tried to do it the first time? This is what you would call a trade rumor. This A trade like this could only happen. The Lakers can't do this type of deal. It's a lot of moving parts. It would have to be a three-team trade in order for it to happen. I'm going to explain all of it. Something that no one else is really going to touch on. We're doing a StreamYard tonight about the boxing fight. Teofimo Lopez versus Lomachenko. We're doing that StreamYard tonight. Yes, sir. Well, it's different for me than it is for most other people. Um, there are a lot of interesting things that are happening that don't make any sense in the league, but we're going to talk about a lot of different things. Oh yeah, because this is what I'm talking about. Y'all got mad at Golden State for getting Kevin Durant. Yet you want the Lakers, who got LeBron, AD, you want them to get Bradley Beal, you want them to try to get Giannis. The hell is wrong with y'all? Do y'all know the hypocrisy that's going on in your mind? It's the same thing you said about Kevin Durant going to Golden State. Then they tell you some ESPN garbage. Well, he went to the team, but they beat him though. He went to a team that beat him. Like, is that in a rule book somewhere? Like, what part of stupid does that qualify in? I don't understand that. When was there ever a rule saying just because a team had beaten you in the playoffs? There's plenty of teams that people that didn't lost to somebody in the playoff, and they probably went and joined that team the very next year. Happens all the time in sports. But to try to that's supposed to protect what LeBron did? And that's the case, then Ray Allen shouldn't have went to the Miami Heat. Remember? They beat Boston. They beat them. So you don't go and join them. Y'all didn't have a problem with Ray coming over. Hypocrisy at its finest. Well, this is a rumor, folks. And the reason why it's a rumor is put out by certain people because they want to build the interest for it so that other people can step up to the plate and make this happen. I know who put it out there. But you got to understand, this was almost a reality before. I told you guys about it in the first place. See, the thing is that Chris Paul's salary is the only reason that this trade is as tricky as it is. Now, if this trade gets done, I'm going to explain to you how it's going to be done and how it could work for the Lakers. It would have to involve a third team. It cannot be a team for team trade. It just would not happen. The Lakers would have zero flexibility. They have zero draft picks. It's a mess for them. See, you got to remember, OKC is in a rebuilding process. They're going to have a new coach next year. Is Chris Paul willing to stick around for a rebuild? I don't think he is. I don't think he stayed and played the role he did to not be moved somewhere where he will be able to vie for a championship. So I do think at some point, whether it's in the mid all-star break or some point in the season, if they couldn't get it now because it's a short turnaround, in 2 more months, 2 months, the NBA is back. 2 months. They can't afford to sit around. The draft is coming up in a couple of days. They have zero time to waste. Things have to be done right now. Exactly. Don't forget, my Cash App is Carcino. Don't forget, you can always hit up the Cash App, Carcino, Karceno. And don't forget, you guys can hit the like button when this is all done. Well, I mean, you can do that now. Hit the like button. And if you're new here, you can hit the subscribe button so you don't miss anything when we go live. Reason I'm still up because I had female company last night. She got her own Uber. I'm getting old. Oh boy, am I getting old. He said, "I bet the NBA won't block this trade." Yeah, everybody said this is gonna fix Chris Paul was supposed to be the Dwight Howard, Chris Paul, and Kobe. Kobe would have had his first ever, like real dynasty of his own. Imagine that you Kobe Bryant and the NBA tries to do everything to stop you from from succeeding until things die down. LeBron wants a three-peat because he failed at his in Miami. Jordan's got two of them. Kobe got one, almost got three of them, and he had one. He wants a three-peat. They don't need CP3. Exactly. I don't think they need CP3, but he wouldn't hurt either. The fact that Rondo didn't have to play a full season. If this was a real playoffs, like people don't understand. Chris Paul, had this been a full season, we might not have seen Chris Paul make it throughout the playoffs. If this was a full season, Rondo might not have made it throughout the whole playoffs. Because it was a bubble situation with months off, it was short for them. So they could just come back and play the bubble games for those 2 months, locked in playing basketball for those 2 months. They could do that. They've been resting. So this actually benefited Chris Paul. This actually benefited Rondo because these two are normally not durable. Now, Rondo, they'll still have under contract. I mean, nobody really counts it as a real championship because most of the players weren't in shape. A lot of them didn't want to be there. So some of them showed up just for the check. And I keep telling people in sports, it's not like it's not like in high school, or college when you're on the team and everybody's like, all right, come on, man, we got to win the championship. Come on, we got a shot. If we come in, we got to work, we got to run, we got to do this, we can win a chip. Everybody's mind's not like that. And when you get to the NBA, you see there's a lot of people's minds are not like that. It's always the rookies and the second year players and stuff like, all right, come on, man, we gotta work hard, we gotta practice, we gotta get better. Dude, they be playing cards like, man, we can win an NBA championship. Cut. They're not thinking about that. They thinking about who we playing tomorrow, where we going after the game to kick it. They ain't thinking about winning no championship. They just want to get paid. And it's more of those than they are anybody else trying to win championships. Do you know less than 1% of all the players in the NBA win an NBA title? Less than 1%. So does it mean you're not great if you don't win an NBA title? I don't judge LeBron on his NBA titles, and I judge him off his failures. No, R&B Garvey, he's not great. He's nothing close to it. I judge him for what he is, a bum. I judge ability, skill, all of the above. I don't look at stats. Jerry, you must have missed the video where I told you the Lakers were illegally holding practice for the Lakers. While no other team could hold practice, the Lakers were practicing at a facility during the lockdown. And then they didn't know that they couldn't have the practice facility open. It was one of their, they knew it. That's why it was like a practice facility off. It wasn't their usual practice facility. It was another one off. So for weeks, the Lakers was practicing there. And then somebody found wind of it, and then they had to shut it down too. Like, oh, we didn't know that had to be shut down. Okay, yeah, we shutting it down. Then the players would meet at LeBron's house to go play at LeBron's house, but act like they were just going there for dinner. Like, oh, everybody's coming to my house for dinner. But they would actually be playing, practicing together when they were supposed to be quarantined, staying away from each other. But they're in LeBron's house practicing for the bubble. Silver Slipper knew because he's telling them, get ready. That's why LeBron's like, hey, wait a minute. Who's saying this? Nobody want to play. We do want to play. He want to play. Other teams didn't practice. Other teams didn't even know there were going to be a continuation of the season. They were like, look, are they finna call this thing or not? Because I'm sitting around. They thought they were going to have time to get in shape before the season. Then they get hit with this 8 games to get in shape for this playoffs. And 8 games wasn't enough. Now, Jerry, it's not a video game. You know how many players that are in shape that are actually in the NBA? It's not a lot of them. I know you might see them cut and they move up and down the court. A lot of them are not conditioned at all. Believe me, there's a lot of them that's in the NBA that look great, but they ain't conditioned at all. They run up and down the court. They tired. They got to come out the game. They can't run like the real professional athletes, like Steph Curry and Clay. They run for days. It's hard to keep up with them. They got endless energy, and they not that young. Steph is about to be 31. Now, here's what's going to happen with the Lakers and how they can make this possible. Pope has already said he's going to opt out of his deal with the Lakers. That helps the Lakers out tremendously because he's a part of Clutch Sports. He's going to opt out his deal, and the Lakers are not going to bring him back, so he's gone. So that way he don't have to go through the embarrassment of being traded. Somebody else can just pick him up, or he can go shop out for more money somewhere else. He did good in the bubble, so that'll save him when he goes into his free agency. Um, when he goes out on the market. So he's out of the picture. Now, I told you before that this deal would take 3 teams to get done. What if I told you they tried to get Chris Paul for this championship run right here? You know what affected this whole thing? The bubble. Chris Paul was going to come to the Lakers in a 3-team trade with the Philadelphia 76ers. Here's what you probably didn't know. Well, I think we probably went over it when it happened. The Lakers were going to give up Pope and they were going to give up Danny Green. The 76ers was going to give up Mike Scott and then it was what? It was something with Zaire Smith and then a 2021 pick from Philly. So Paul was going to go to the Lakers. The Thunder was going to get Danny Green and Pope. The Sixers was going to get Mike Scott and Zaire Smith and a 2020 pick, which is the 21st pick from Philly. So the Lakers would end up with Chris Paul and 2 second-round draft picks from Philly. The Sixers would get a couple of other players that was on the list. Now, all of these things have been thrown out. If you can get Chris Paul contract and be able to absorb it while still, having a transaction as a win for your team, OKC can move Danny Green and Pope at any time at the trade deadline, or they can keep him as an asset. I don't think they're going to keep Danny Green on as working with the team. I think they're going to use him as a trading piece to acquire Chris Paul. I do think Chris Paul is coming to the Lakers, though. They're going to work out a way to get him there. I mean, here's the thing. OKC could wait for a better offer, but who's going to offer you more money for a guy who's about 36, going to be 37, point guard in the league who looked good in the bubble playoff, but that's because he had 4 months off. But anyway, this guy is like 37, and he's not known to be durable. And he stands to make a lot of money, like 37 million and 41 million in the last year of his deal. So you're looking at a very massive contract. But it would take 3 teams to get it done. It would have to be another team in the mix. No, they're not moving Rondo. What's going to end up happening, they're going to move Avery Bradley, Kyle Kuzma. Pope's going to be gone. It's either going to be Danny Green or Kyle Kuzma. They might keep Kyle Kuzma and move Danny Green in that spot. So the Lakers would lose Danny Green, Avery Bradley, and probably Morris or some other player that they got on the team. And they're going to want to get draft picks, so they'll want to do a 3-team trade so they can get Chris Paul and get some second rounders from Philly or wherever they come from. So they're going to start moving players for picks because the Lakers then gave away all their picks to acquire Anthony Davis. Now, Anthony Davis, they're going to have to lock down. He's going to go test the market. So the Lakers are still going to sign him to a supermax because he can get more money staying with them. So this is it. They can pay him the supermax. AD's there. And now you got LeBron's contract is already there and null and void. It could push them over to the luxury cap a little bit. But the thing is, it's going to eat up their flexibility. They won't be able to do those old Laker trades in the middle of the season, grab this guy and that guy and this guy. It's going to be really hard to do that with 3 major salaries on the payroll. I mean, the NBA is criminal. We all know that. So it's not going to be very hard for them to do it. Don't forget to hit the like button, people. We should be at 100 likes right now. I don't know what people are doing. Yeah, it must be too early in the morning for everybody. Caruso's not going anywhere. Avery Bradley may be gone, right along with Bradley might be involved in the trade for Chris Paul, right along with Danny Green or Kyle Kuzma. Pope he's opting out of his deal with the Lakers. He's opting out of his last year. He think he can get more money. Testing the market now. So he's going to go out and test the market and see if he can get, a better deal. So he's choosing to opt out of his deal with the Lakers. That frees the Lakers up of money guaranteed to play Pope. So Pope is out in the field. He's going to exercise his option. Well, the only reason Vogel is the coach of the Los Angeles Lakers is because Ty Lue turned down a 3-year coaching offer that they offered him. They offered him 3 years. He said, no, I want 5. He's like, the standard deal is a 5-year deal. Why am I getting 3? They were looking like, look, you're LeBron's problem. So when LeBron leaves, you're leaving. Because LeBron's leaving in 2022. 2024, I believe, is last year. So, and that's it. Bron's gone. So when 2024 hits, LeBron's already retiring. That's his last year, and he's out. Absolutely. They will try to acquire it. I mean, somebody else could do a trade for Chris Paul, but who would want a 37-year-old guard and want to pay $37 million for him a year? And then in his last year, he's getting paid $41 million. You want a 38-year-old point guard making $41 million on the books? That was Morley's biggest mistake, signing Chris Paul back for that kind of money. A sign and trade? But see, that's the thing, is he's already under contract, Chris. He opted out of his contract with the Lakers. So if you opt out of your contract with the Lakers to sign back for the Lakers, it would be for more money. And that means OKC would have to pay more money for him if it was a sign and trade. They have to be okay with that. The Lakers can't trade because of the dynamics and the money factor. Without eating that contract, you would have to use a third-party team. So they were trying to use the 76ers, and they couldn't get that locked down. So the deal changed. They tried to revamp the deal and bring it back to the table and see which one was going to work and go get pushed through. The last deal had the Sixers getting Kyle Kuzma, Avery Bradley, and Talon Horton Tucker, the rookie, from the Shy. He was going to go there. So they was talking about moving those 3 players, and those 3 were going to the Philadelphia 76ers. The Lakers was going to get Chris Paul and 2 of Philly's picks. Well, see, the thing is, Pope was scheduled to make $8.5 million next year, and he chose to opt out. I guess he thought he could find a better deal somewhere else. He left 8.5 million on the table for next season. Caldwell Pope. That's probably the worst deal since Dwayne Wade turning down the Chicago Bulls $21 million. He walked away from 21.5 million in his last year of his deal to go play for 2 million with the Cleveland Cavaliers, only to be traded to Miami halfway through the season. I mean, let's say they got to get a team that's willing to do business with them. Like, I've been hearing the Phoenix Suns. LeBron got a lot of connections in Phoenix. The money wise in Phoenix, they would have to move some parts and move them over there to Phoenix, and Phoenix would have to be willing to make a deal. Kelly Oubre, they would want him in OKC, and it's a lot of players that'll be going over from the Lakers to other teams like the Phoenix Suns. Yep, Danny Green would be on the Phoenix Suns, right along with Pope will be gone. So he's already opting out, so you can't really use him for trade bait. Avery Bradley will be gone, and probably Horton. Well, the Lakers want to make sure they win every year. That's their whole bread and butter. Don't forget to hit that like button, and my cash app is Carcino, Karceno. Well, people got to understand that there's boundaries for a reason. Either, of course, they want to put the whole banana boat on one team and let them all vie for a championship. Sad. It's business? I believe so. It's big business, Hollywood business. You're right, Stephanie Williams. The NBA is not competitive anymore like it used to be. And the ones at the games that you watch that are epic, they're once in a blue moon now. But you got to realize something. There's no assistance. There's no OTAs. None of this stuff. So guys only got limited AAU ball. Yep. I mean, there's no power forward. There's no center really. It's a positionless game because LeBron plays positionless basketball. Well, Jalen Rose is going to say whatever Jalen Rose can because they all got to follow a program script. Bradley Beal to the Clippers. For Chris Paul, any day of the week, make that deal. I trust Bradley Beal down the stretch more than I trust Chris Paul. Too much infighting with the Clippers. Wow, somebody's really delusional saying the Bulls are going to make the playoff. They got a new GM and a new coach. Did they get a new owner? I don't think so. Did they system change? I don't think so. They the same old White Sox. I mean Bulls. I said White Sox. Oh, there they go. Trying to troll. We don't care about numbers. We care about the impact and what you did in the game. Let's get to 100 likes, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go. Don't sleep on the Bulls. I'm going to go to sleep on them as soon as this video's over. Of course, Stephanie, he has cheated the game of basketball. Rather than trying to earn it, he decided to take the shortcut to an NBA title. Mm-mm. Yeah. Somebody said YouTube and came up in here. Oh my goodness, that's crazy. You got a strange feeling Kawhi is leaving. Well, he got one more year. If nothing happens this year, if nothing happens by this year, then it is what it is. Yep. So I just gave you the scenario. Like I said, tonight we're gonna do Lomachenko versus Teofimo Lopez prediction video. Right. They won't block this deal, but they blocked the one with Kobe. But they loved Kobe so much, right? Right. Exactly. Oh, I haven't forgot Nick Wright and Shannon Sharp. I'll take care of them too. I'm gonna do that after I get some rest. It's been a long night. Good night, people. Good night. What I'm talking about, it's morning for you guys. Deuces.